Hey everybody, welcome back to The Last Place. Today I'm going to answer a few more questions that I had when I was young in my faith and that some people have asked me. So we're going to jump right into it. I don't want to make this video too long. And also, I'm still working on my Samuel video. I'm going to finish 1 Samuel and finish Saul here soon when I had a little bit more time. All right, so one of the questions I've always asked, and I always thought I should say, is that you had to be holy, are righteous, are pious, which all mean pretty much the same thing, set apart, to be special, to go to church. Like if you were a sinner and you were going to church, you were just a hypocrite. I remember my cousin used to always go to church and he would come back and say, I'm a born again Christian. Then he'd be out doing drugs the very next day. And I'd be making fun of him like, oh, born again Christian. Haha, what a loser. But in reality, knowing what I know now, that's exactly what the church is for. The church is for the broken people. Church is like a hospital for people who are broken. Like if you're hurt, you're gonna go to the hospital and try to get healed up, right? Like if you have a broken arm. Same thing for church. If you're broken spirited, which because of original sin, which Adam and Eve ate the apple, every person is broken. So every person should go to church, ideally. So that's why we go to church, and that's why it's important to go to church. If you're broken, you don't have to be special. The problem with church is a lot of these people show up and they're dressed in their suit and tie and put it on a front. They put on a show that they're very pious and very holy. Look at me, guys. I'm here and I'm like super duper godly. But that's not it. A lot of these guys, they put those suit and ties on and they're being fake. They want everybody to think that. They're going to church for the wrong reasons. You got to remember that in the Bible, it specifically says that God knows your heart. So if God knows your heart and you're going for the wrong reasons, it's like not even going. If you're going to check a box, it's not even going. If you're going to try to impress somebody, it's like not even going. But however, on the flip side of that, if you're going to impress somebody, at least you're there, maybe you'll catch a word, right? So it's better to go than not to go, even if it's for the wrong reasons, because maybe God will convert you, because everybody needs to be converted little by little. Everybody needs to be converted daily. If you go to church and you hear a word and the next day you want to come back, that's good. It's like God planting that mustard seed in you, right? Like the parable Jesus taught. If you don't know what it is, it basically says, this is me paraphrasing, that if you have as much faith as a mustard seed, which is the smallest of all seeds in the whole world, that much faith, you can move mountains with your faith, right? And mustard trees grow to be huge. They're very big. So that little mustard seed can sprout out. One of the other questions I get a lot is that do you have to only have faith to go to heaven, or do you have to have works and faith? Like, do you have to do good deeds and do God's work, or do you just have to believe in God and have the faith? In the Bible, it says St. Paul says you have to have faith and works. That's the Apostle Paul. And Peter says the same thing, or not Peter, James. But James also says that it's better to have faith, right? So do you need both to go to heaven? The question that is asked a million times. Well, the answer to that is, I don't know, right? I personally believe as a Catholic, you need to do works and faith. And if you're one of those Presbyterians or non-denomination that thinks that you're going to heaven just by faith alone, good on you, then you must have a lot of faith. I'm not willing to gamble with my eternal salvation on just faith alone. So I will do God's will, because every time I try to do my own will, I end up not having faith. You know what I mean? So if you have faith, then you should be doing God's work anyway, right? They kind of go together, faith and works, right? Because if you don't do God's work, then how do you have faith? Tell me about it. You believe in God, and but you're not going to do his work. You're going to do your work. So if you're doing your work and not God's work, to me, the way I see that is idolatry, right? So you're believing, you're breaking the first commandment. You're making yourself God and not God as God. So you're not worshiping God like he wants to be worshipped. He tells you how to worship him. Instead, you're setting yourself or money or something as an idol. And that's a very dangerous thing to do. And sometimes we do this and we don't even realize it. We don't even realize the idols we put in front of us. Money, cars, children, husbands, wives, houses, right? We think that these things are the most important things, but it says that God should become before all. He comes first. So it should be God, wife, children, right? Ideally, your family. God, country, or however you want to look at it. God should come first. And ask yourself, are you putting God first, really? Everything you do in life, do you put God first? I know I don't. Sometimes I do, and those times I do that, it's amazing. I feel great, and things happen to work out. My priest told me the other day, not me, but a friend of mine, he told them, I was just happened to be right there, heard it too, is that if you put God first, truly put him first, everything else will fall into place. Think about that. If you put God first, all your other little worries and this and that, they'll fall into place. So I beg you to put God first, and I beg you to pray for me to put God first, to not fall, because we worry about so much other stuff that doesn't need to be worried about. Oh, how am I going to eat tomorrow? Well, God will provide. All you got to do is just put him first. And we're going to leave you with that message. Put God first. Hope you enjoyed. Hit that like and subscribe, and we'll get that other video of Samuel up here soon. Enjoy, guys.